You've seen it, right? The way in which the news media talks about and depicts immigration of minoritized race people. Here in the UK, it reached insane levels of racist around and following the Brexit vote. And there is very little counter-narrative to this in terms of mainstream film and TV that depicts people who have emigrated from their home country without giving it the fish out of water culture clash madness. Thankfully, Minari is here to save us. In this video, I'm going to go over my reasons as to why Minari is the true immigration story we need. Welcome to Hakuna MaChatter, your place for everything positive in diversity and representation in film and TV. My name is Elliot. If you're new here to the channel, please consider subscribing, turning on the bell notification. Minari positions itself as the everyday American story. We have a family who are out chasing the American dream. We've seen this kind of story a million times, right? The young hopeful arriving to the big city in order to become a star. The young gun in a small town who has this one invention that saves all the town's people. When you hear the basis of those characters, who do you picture? What do those characters look like to you? We've seen the everyday American story a million times, but we're in a world now where to be American or to be British is no longer a singular look. Heck, I mean, it's been that for, centuries, millennia now, so please don't get that mixed up. But the whole point of those stories is that they are meant to be universal, right? That they are speaking directly to you, that you can pack all away your possessions, hop on a train, and you can make it and fulfill your American dream. On my live stream previous to this video, my guest Josh said that the more personal a story, the more universal it is. He was talking about Minari. Written and directed by Lee Isaac Chung, Minari is based off of his experiences growing up in the 80s. He has made that universal, all-American dream story, but showing it through his lens. This makes the film so incredibly relevant for today, as it is that counter to the demonization of immigrants that has swept Western society and news media, and it is also very relevant today in countering the demonization of Asian Americans since the breakout of the pandemic. Seriously, check out the stats of the hate crimes on Asian Americans since the start of the pandemic. This is no joke. Though it's not a socio-political conscious film, Minari at no point digs an American flag into the ground declaring all Asian Americans as true Americans. I mean, it shouldn't and doesn't need to. Lee Isaac Chung is drawing on personal experience. Both he and this story are already as American as it gets. With that, we get to see a story in which minoritized race characters don't have to explain their position in the world based on their race. Instead, they get to explore relationships, both romantic and familial, business ownership, financial difficulties, all the things that everyone goes through on a day-to-day basis. However, Minari also doesn't shy away from the fact that its lead family are Korean American. In fact, it leans very heavily into it. The parents emigrated from Korea and converse predominantly in Korean throughout the film. The kids were born and raised in America. They speak English with American accents, and they definitely drink more Mountain Dew than is recommended. It's very much a story about an American family who just so happen to also be Korean. Minari's success is the normalization of seeing different people in spaces they already occupy. Spaces that have been dominated and overrepresented by others for decades. Therefore, Minari exhibits representation at its best. The thing that makes our characters different isn't their focal point of the story. They just so happen to be Korean American. At the same time, it leans very heavily into the fact that they are Korean American. Have a look at the stand-in in this film for Lee Isaac Chung. It is the son of the family, David, and he represents the American upbringing, juxtapositioned by his grandma, who is all Korean and nothing what he expects. So the film is currently scheduled for a UK release into cinemas on March 19th, though as of recording this video, we now have a roadmap for how we're exiting the pandemic, so to speak, so it looks like it's going to be pushed back to at least mid-May here in the UK. If you're in the US, check out the A24 website. They've had virtual screenings. Maybe you'll be able to watch it there. I guess, guys, in the UK, you could try a VPN as well if you are so willing. Though that being said, do follow me on Twitter at Hakuna MaChatter. If there are any updates on the UK release, I will be posting it up there. If you'd like to see my thoughts on Malcolm and Marie and the authenticity in filmmaking, click right here. If you'd like to see my thoughts on whether black British actors should play black American historical figures, click right there. And if you'd like to subscribe, turning on that bell notification, you can click down there. Until next time, Hakuna MaChatter.